Hi guys, welcome to Silly Tarot, or welcome back. I hope everyone had a great holiday, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrated, I hope you had a great time. And I am happy to see everybody back for another reading to kind of kick off the new year and just see what the energies are that are here. And just kind of tap in and see what's going on. I actually pre-shuffled my decks, and I really was wanting to use my alchemy deck that I have here. You can see the box is messed up, but we're not going to talk about that. I don't want to talk about what happened to it. But, funny enough, one of my issues with using this deck originally, I almost wasn't going to, because there's kind of a lot of nudity in this deck, and obviously I can't really show that, but I really want to use this deck, so we're gonna do our best, and I'm just going to censor it where needed. But regardless, I also have my Citadel Oracle deck with me today. I'm pretty sure last time I think I had like my Kim Kranz archetype cards, but I don't know if I think I did pull some. This is a newer deck that I got more recently. I had never heard of it before, and then I saw somebody else using it. I think Andy from 13 Moon Tarot, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought the cards looked really cool, so I picked them up, and they are really nice. But I haven't had them for that long, so I am excited to use them more because I haven't seen all of the cards yet, really. Like, I haven't seen all of them pop up in readings and stuff before. Also, I am trying to talk a little bit louder because in the last video, I wasn't talking that loud. I'm gonna try and fix that. So yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. I did pull 3 cards ahead of time. I had a few cards that fell out of me just to get a general vibe for the beginning of the year. And so I pulled, let's see. I'm going to show you guys these 2 cards first because the other one I'm going to have to censor. Funny enough, so I said there's a lot of nudity in this deck. There are 2 versions of the Lovers card in this deck, and one of them they're just kissing. This is not that card, because of course it isn't. So we'll just say the Lovers card came out in reversed in this case, because this is probably like the most problematic card that I could have pulled to start with, but we're gonna keep rolling with it. So the Lovers card came out in reversed, and of course then we had the 7 and the Ace of Staffs. And I feel like what I'm seeing here, first of all, we have some like we just have a lot of like strong fire right off the bat. It's winter time, so interesting, but jokes aside, I really feel like amongst the collective lately there has been a lot of this strong fire energy going on, and while it has been bringing up a lot of like creativity and a lot of kind of like opportunities for new sort of, I would say, new pursuits and new ways to be creative and like really like wanting to do things, it's really like a ramping up, I think at the same time there's just been a lot of like, butting heads in the meantime. I feel like with it being the end of the year closing out, that big surge of energy was very like kind of unexpected for people, and I feel like within the collective there's been kind of this struggle to almost like get this under control, and I feel like this is what this is sort of like almost this being the second card as being sort of like that stepping over the threshold coming into the new year, and this being about the mastery of that fire, really, the fire dragon that we have here, of just really being able to like guard that flame and just really kind of be able to make sure that it keeps on burning even when there's a lot of like stuff moving around you, you know? Because I feel like that's a lot of what this is, you know? Because I feel like when a lot of people have the fire going and it's not necessarily like being directed somewhere, it just gets hot, you know? Um, and I feel like with the Lovers card coming out in reverse, and I don't really know if I can show this at all. I don't know. I don't know if I should try. Um, they're here. But I don't know. I feel like the Lovers card coming out in reversed is the dragon being in the middle, you know, like I said before, really gives me that vibe of mastery. Um, and I just saw 222 on my phone, but um, I think the Lovers card coming out in reverse still gives me that same theme of like really trying to come to terms with that like almost upheaval in energy and it being a little like holy shit, like why is this so intense, you know? Um, but let's keep pulling some cards and see where this takes us further. So, if we could get a couple more cards on what's going on with this intensity in the energy for the collective that I am reading for today. If I could get like 3 cards, that'd be cool. This is one of my favorite cards in the whole deck. Okay. I love this card. This deck is beautiful. Another ace is the Ace of Cups. I just think this card is really cool. I just love the like kind of surreal imagery of it. I love it so much. Along with our Ace of Staffs. I don't know why my voice broke. And another absolutely gorgeous fucking card. The star card that I am going to have to censor. But here she is. Star. Sorry, I'm showing off the art at this point. I just really think these are gorgeous. Okay. So the Ace of Cups right away, very, very dreamy card to me. That's always what this imagery evokes for me is sort of like very dreamlike, you know? I feel like it really speaks to me, especially next to another fire card, and then the 10 no less, you know, of a lot of emotions coming up. And I think that was definitely part of that. The complication with the energy uprising in the collective, you know, is that it carries a lot of emotional weight and charge. And being in this space I feel like it comes across as sort of liminal sometimes, you know. It's hard to sift through what's happening. It can feel like there's a lot on your mind, but with all of the fire cards coming out, I feel like it's just been real heavy on like, yes, there's thoughts, but there's a lot of like emotion coming up with it too, you know, and a lot of just like, I don't know, I really like soupy, if that makes sense. I feel like other people around me have definitely been feeling that as well. I know I have. Of just sort of like that there's been a bit of like a denseness to the emotional stuff going on lately. Um, But at the same time, this phoenix, it's a very like cleansing kind of thing, It is for the sake of getting rid of it, because coming into a transition period of going into a new year, obviously we cannot take it all with us, you know? And so I feel like all of it coming up has sort of been for the sake of burning it off and really sort of like coming to that more of like a rebirth energy. Um, and then with the star, the star I feel like is really giving me that energy of stepping into more of an energy of I feel like abundance is kind of like a buzzword, like I feel like that feels very generic to say, but sort of like being able to take that fire and generate it into things that are meaningful, you know? Whether that be connections, whether that be like starting up a business or a venture that you've really been interested in doing. Even if it's just like getting more into hobbies. Like I know for me, I have been trying to do art more. I started painting a little bit. I like did a painting for somebody. Um, I have just had a lot of projects that I've been pushing off for a while that I have finally started to get into. Stuff that I've been putting off, such as I broke this bracelet here, this purple one, and I finally fixed it. Um, so maybe some of you have been feeling something similar to that, of finally kind of like being able to use that fire to step into this, and being able to finally like maybe get a grip on it, And I'm kind of getting the vibe that this is something that's just sort of starting to fall into place, is the ability for that to really go somewhere constructive. So I feel like maybe let's get some cards on. Let's get some cards on. Yeah. I was trying to I was wanting to pull a couple more cards about that sort of like heavy emotional energy that kept coming up. And we once again have more fire. More fire. Lots of fire. This actually happened to me a few weeks back, where I was pulling nothing but fire cards, and yeah, it's always a fun reading when it's nothing but fire. We have a queen. I just realized that I did not censor the card, but we're gonna cover over that. We're gonna gloss over it. We have our Queen of Staffs here, as well as the Six of Staffs, and the Six here. If you see how, obviously he has his own staff, but there's also a lot of people handing staffs to him. And I feel like there's this sort of like sense that, and like I said before, when we had this card come out, this was the first card that came out, and we were talking about the sort of conflict that was or could be arising within the collective right now, or very recently, coming through all of that like emotional denseness. I feel like it's because a lot of us are just sort of experiencing the same thing at the same time, And when a lot of us are experiencing the same thing at the same time, there's a lot of hot potato, like trying to pass around the emotions that you can't process to other people is very common, especially people that you are close to, people that you see all the time, and this can sometimes just lead to tensions being very heightened. And with the Queen, I definitely get a sense of like kind of struggling to overcome the overwhelm, just the sheer amount of intensity coming forward, you know? I'm definitely getting a sense of like just really needing to be able to balance, like the way that she has the two flames on either side. Um, really needing to be able to find that kind of balance where you can hold the two flames and not be able to be burned by them, because this is a lot of fucking fire. This has all been a lot of fire. So, I think I'm gonna pull, where are my oracle cards? Bear with me here. I found them. Okay. I want to pull a card or two about, one card's already falling out at me, and it's the card that I keep pulling lately. I want to get at least another one, though, on the topic of what we can sort of, almost like what this experience here is teaching us, because I know for me, I have definitely been experiencing this, and at least in my own personal, like, spiritual and magical journey, I tend to sort of like, I tend to experience different energies as time goes on and learn different lessons from each one about how to work with energy and different types of energy in different ways. And it sort of seems to be that each new one kind of comes as like an initiation, as like a way to bring you into a new understanding of a new concept or a new level of creating reality from, whatever it may be at the time. And so, you know, obviously when you are working through this path, all of these difficulties, you know, they do come to teach us things, and there are very important things that we can learn about working with energy throughout all of the emotional upheaval that comes up, because emotions are a frequency that is expressing themselves through us. That is something that has been sort of like either just now created by our body, or, you know, maybe it's been stored there for a while, but either way, you know, we have this emotion come up and it expresses itself through us, and there is a lot of magic to be learned from that. And yeah, I just like another card to get a vibe on what we can kind of get from this, and there is my card. Okay. Okay, so the first card that came out was the Warrior. It says perfectionism and burnout on the bottom. And then we have the Twins. Self-protection and dual nature is what it says on the bottom. These cards are so cool. I don't know what kind of birds those are. I think those are some kind of geese. Actually, I'm going to grab the booklet and see if it tells me. Let's find out. I keep having to like make sure I have things in frame. I'm not used to like doing this. Please bear with me. I know I keep saying this. Okay, let's see. The twins. Where are they? Page 144. Maybe that's synchronistic for someone. Who can say? I'm going to read the card because the wording is fun, and we'll see what it says. I don't know if it will tell me the name of the bird, but we're going to read it and go in blind. A quiet courtyard, the soft murmur of a nearby tea shop, the call of songbirds, and a blazing argument, shattering the peace. The twins were born at the same time, but they couldn't be more different. The first, a dreamer, charming and surrounded by friends, the other more worldly, but dogged by life's injustices and feelings of inadequacy. Each twin feels the pressure to measure up to their sibling. but that pressure is entirely internal. Neither is judging the other, only themselves. This card relates to a specific relationship. Okay, I'm not gonna read that part. We're gonna leave it at that. It doesn't say what kind of bird they are, and I'm using my phone to record this, so I can't Google it. But if you know what kind of bird looks like this and has a red head, please tell me. Anyway, I feel like that card coming out with this warrior card, the burnout card, definitely a sense of like, you can sort of take that immense amount of fire energy coming in a couple of different ways. You know, it can come in and it can absolutely burn you out. It can be way too fucking much. It can be just too much, you know, just too much at once, you know. But I think there's also sort of a chance to really be able to work with it and really be able to see it in a different way. I am actually going to pull another card still. Where did I put them? I don't know why I'm prone to losing these in particular. I'm inclined to think it's because they're different shapes than my other cards. They're like... I want a card. Please give me a card. And take this card. The Runaway. Secrets. Running from problems. Interesting. Okay. So the cage here, the cage is open, right? The cage is open, and I feel like with all of the flowers growing around it, you know, I'm getting this idea of kind of building up a cage for yourself in order to sort of protect your identity. And over time, you know, you kind of like adorn the cage and it becomes very beautiful and very comfortable in a way, you know? I mean, when I look at like the red bottom, like it reminds me of velvet, you know? So it reminds me of something like plush and comfortable. And the key, I am actually realizing there's the key up at the top. So the key up at the top, the door open, you know, there's no reason to stay locked up in the cage, even if it is beautiful, you know? I feel like somebody might need to hear that. I also get the sense of like maybe trying to stay in the cage in order to avoid learning to work with all of the fire is definitely something that could be happening for some people, you know? Just really not wanting to face whatever is going on with the emotions, you know? But at the same time, I think that there's, you know, ooh, what is this? The Sailor. New Influences and Wanderlust. The Warrior and the Sailor card are actually both cards that came out while I was shuffling these, actually. So I keep seeing them. And the Sailor card actually has the same sort of like twin motif happening as with the twin card. So if you have any strong Gemini placements, which fun fact, I do. I have a Gemini moon. But yeah, if you have any strong Gemini placements, pay attention. Pay extra attention. Honestly, beginning of the year, travel if you can. I am just throwing that out there. Obviously, I know that situations are different for everyone, but I feel like there's really a sense of just like get out there, do new things. If you can go places, go places. If you can't really, just go someplace new that's local, try new things and meet new people. And when that like intense fire is coming up, even if you don't necessarily have like a network, even if you don't have like things that you already know that you like to do, people that you already want to do them with, just start going out and putting your energy into new things and new places and just start. Just allow the new influences to kind of like come in and kind of just really do what it is that they're going to do. Because when you give your energy to that, first of all, you're not going to have this intense, like, why am I getting so much from external sources, you know? It's going to help with that, first of all. But also, it's going to help to kind of bring in new things, you know? I feel like there wasn't... Was there a card with water? There was. Yeah. I had this card before. So 2 kind of like ocean cards, you know? There's a lot of potential in the ocean. The ocean is very deep. It's very vast. There's a lot in there we don't know about. There's a lot of things in there we do know about, but there's more things that we don't know about, I'm inclined to think. So, honestly, get in there. Get in the ocean. Get in. Let's see if there's any more messages that want to come through in the tarot cards. And then we're going to close it out. This card is, like, sticking out of the way. I thought this was another ace for a second. It's not. It is another fire card. 2 of Wands. Sorry, I don't know why I'm, like, sticking my pinky out. Weird. I don't know. Don't ask me questions. So we have the 2 of fire. Big fan of the way there's this little salamander guy on the bottom. Big fan of him. I feel like this, so we have the ace, yeah. Okay, so, no, this is not an ace, this is the king. Okay, never mind. Okay, well, either way. This has, like, the hand from the ace. Like, if you've ever seen, like, the typical, like, ace suit thing where they have, like, the sort of, like, disembodied hand sitting in a cloud, you know? Here you go. But this time, you know, it is transferring the flame, and I believe in this card this is something to do with a myth about, I think this is about Hermes. I cannot remember. I'm going to look and find out for you. Yes. So, it's supposed to represent Hermes and Aphrodite. So maybe that is a synchronicity for someone. But regardless, I feel like this really speaks to the concept of just like really taking that fire that is in the ace, you know, that like a lot of fresh creativity and just like an excess of just like emotion and just like wanting to express yourself and wanting to, I don't know, do something, who knows what, you know? I feel like it's not really defined. It's just sort of a sense of like wanting to do something new, wanting to change something, wanting something to just be different, be interesting, you know? Spreading this to new places, you know? The fire is less of a burden to bear if you spread it, if you share it, if you put it in places where it is going to, I don't know. I was kind of speaking in a metaphor, and I sort of lost the thread of the metaphor, but I feel like you see what I'm saying. I kind of want, like, one more card to come out. You'll never guess what suit this is. We have our knight now. This guy always strikes me as so funny because he's standing in the desert and he just looks like he's so over it. He doesn't want to be there. I don't think that's necessarily the point of this card this time around. Maybe it is. I feel like he's sick of being in the desert by himself, you know? He's sick of being there by himself. There's nobody else out in the desert with him. That armor is fucking hot with all that fire. Bro's wearing metal. He's over it. Stop being in the desert by yourself. Share the fire. I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna pull one more oracle card. I'm going to pull, why are there cards in the middle that are facing the wrong direction? I'm going to close my eyes and fan them out, and I'm going to take this card. And this is the Enchanter. The bottom it says deception and trickery, and it's a bone, isn't it? Yeah. I feel like this card coming out at the end is just sort of like a reminder that when you step into those new things, to sort of step into them mask off, you know? Sort of step into them from your heart and really be genuine about it, not go into it with like an attachment to a past version of yourself that would hold you back from exploring new things. Go into it new and fresh and open and as a new person, you know. Don't try and like wear an old face, you know? That makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. We're gonna leave it there. I hope that this, first of all, I hope I talked loud enough this time, especially in comparison to last time. And hopefully this was also a little bit more cohesive, especially as we continued forward. Like I said in my other video, I am obviously just starting out, doing this like online, you know. I mean, I've been reading tarot for a little while, but in terms of like making videos and stuff, I am very new to this. So if you would like to be along for the journey, I would love to have you. Please subscribe and join along. And you can also find me on Instagram under the name Silly Tarot. And if you are interested in a personal reading, DM me. I still have not set up the menu with the information and the pricing for that. I'm sorry, but you can DM me if you're interested in that. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Love you all. Bye.